Give me, in fact, let me do the official welcome now we're recording. So, big welcome to today's masterclass. This is all about doing books, becoming an author, but more specifically, focusing on workbooks. And so, I'm Anna, for those of you who don't know me. I'm going to share my screen now. There's more of you coming in, so let me just share my screen. And I've been asking everybody where they're from. So, if you haven't told me where you're from, let me know where you're tuning in from. So also give me a yes if you can see my screen. That would be really helpful as well. Brilliant. So the passive income playbook, but what we're really talking about is how you can create and sell workbooks on repeat using the Amazon marketplace. So just a little bit about me because there's a lot of you that are currently working with me because I tend to focus mainly on Amazon. But I have also taught people on Etsy and e-commerce, and in fact, someone the other day called me Amazon instead of Anna. But I've helped thousands of people on Amazon build physical product businesses and also sell books. I've currently got 49 books myself on the Amazon marketplace. You may not be able to find them all though, because I am a bit of an SEO geek and I found that people were searching Anna Davidson's books on Amazon. And also, some of them I don't really want to be known for, if I'm honest. So I've done things like recipe books, I've done colouring books, I've done e-commerce books. I've got an online business planner for specifically e-commerce businesses. I've done charity, different charity books. What else have I done? I've done trackers, like sports and fitness trackers. I did one actually on a Ninja air fryers because I noticed that Ninja air fryers did 10 million in December. So I thought there's all of these people with Ninja air fryers or air fryers who need recipe books. So that gave me an idea. So I am a little bit obsessed with books, and I've never done one just on Amazon, and that's my next one. I'm working on a book about how to sell on Amazon. So I've helped people do this as well, and create not only with physical products but books as well, sell on repeat. I don't know, Becky, if you can. I've noticed now I'm sharing my screen. I can't let. There's somebody called Joe in the waiting room, and I can't let them in. So see if you can let them in. If not, they'll have to watch the replay. So anyway, that's what I've done. For many years. This was a screenshot of my best Black Friday sales to date. Not to do with books, but I'm pretty proud of it because that was more or less what I earned in a year in the corporate world. I've got to be truthful with you though. This isn't every Black Friday, but it was my best Black Friday, and I'm pretty proud of it. So just some stats. If you know me, you know I love my stats. So last year, Black Friday, sales reached over 10.8 billion in online sales. So when people tell me that they ignore Amazon when they're selling anything, whether it's physical products or books, I'm like, why? And that was a 10% increase from last year. And in Amazon KDP, so the Kindle publishing, so what we're talking about today, it actually, over the last quarter, of 2024 increased by 30% year on year. So books is a big thing, and if you know the history of Jeff Bezos, that it all started with books. So I'm going to fly through this just because I don't want it to all be about me. I want you to learn some stuff from me, but it's just good just to kind of give you a little bit of an overview of my journey. And I won't hang about too much on this, but the reason I share it is that I ain't a victim, but a lot of people, we always make excuses, don't we? I do it even still, where it's like, oh, I haven't got time for that, or it's like my dad currently is a little bit poorly, and we always have these different things that happen in life. And I know from the shit I went through that actually we can achieve anything. But it's sometimes just human behavior. We all do it where things get in the way. But because I went through a crappy time many years ago, it kind of got me to where I am. So I'm really grateful that I actually went through it because I kind of channeled my energy into my business, and it helped sort of like get through that difficult time. Even though I sometimes criticize myself and think I could have got there faster. I'm like, Anna, be grateful you got there. So I'm a full-time mum, a single mum. I actually work, God, I'm gonna lose my voice. I actually worked for Pfizer for many years, so don't shoot me. I did enjoy working in the pharmaceutical industry, but then I got a bit fed up of it. But I worked in the corporate world, and the things that I learned from that was about branding, because I actually headed up the Viagra brand, which is there's lots of funny stories I could tell you about Viagra. But I learned a lot about kind of sales and marketing. So that was my background. But I think because my dad has always inspired me because he runs his own business. Um, or did before he retired. I kind of just always wanted to do something for me. And with having kids and things like that, I think you kind of know your why, don't you? If you want to kind of build something for yourself, and that was me. It was I was ambitious, but I also wanted that flexibility with time. And so these are some of the things that I've been recognised for along the way. I actually won this competition, which I'm really proud of. DHgate is like the eBay of China, and they recognize me for a female entrepreneur competition. So over the years, I've built multiple successful brands on Amazon and Etsy, taught loads of students, and this was one of my books, The Queens of E-commerce, which hit five different top-selling categories. So just a bit of an overview of the sort of journey that I've been on. And these are some of the lovely people that have helped do their books. And a lot of them, and this is why I've decided now to focus on the workbook side of things. But once you learn the process, you could do all sorts of different books. Because I do think that we all have a lot of knowledge, whether you have worked in a certain sector for many years, like you've been an accountant for many years, or whether you're already running an online business and you've got coaching or service-based clients, or you're just looking for to start an income really, because it does get quite addictive. Once you've done one book, you move on to the next. And I'm going to be explaining a few different things about what they've done. So enough about me, because it's not about me. I promise you this is what I was going to share with you and teach you today. So I'm going to share with you, I'm just trying to move this panel. Hold on, go back. I've got all of you people hold on, let me just escape a minute. In fact, I can let them in now. There's a few more in the waiting room. Does that look okay if I have it on that not full screen? Because you guys in the videos all in the side of my screen, and it's stopping me see the slides, right? If that's okay, let me know if that's okay, or you prefer it full screen. Okay, it's fine, brilliant. Um, so this is what I'm going to share with you, my three-step formula to doing these workbooks and getting them to a bestseller, and how we leverage Amazon as a platform and how it works basically. And then also how you can create, I'd say, a semi-passive income stream. I don't believe there's a full passive income stream, because you've still got to, log in your account and check your sales and tweak things. And then also I'm going to share with you how you can carry on working with me after this, if that's okay. So hold on, I'm messing with my slides now. What am I doing? I'm editing them. I don't want to edit them. Let me play again. Back to the full screen. So my three-step formula then. So people don't just buy workbooks, they buy results, and that's the really important thing. So you've got to, when we're thinking and deciding what we're going to do, maybe let me know in the chat what kind of knowledge that you've got, or if you've had any ideas before you came on here, if you've never done it before, that is, because I know some of you are on here who have started that journey. But we don't, if you were going to do like a mindset book or a mindset workbook, there's so many rubbishy workbooks out there that I've seen on Amazon and in other places, to be honest. And I think a lot of people think, oh, to create a gratitude journal or a mindset journal, but you've got to really pinpoint a pain point, because people buy solutions to things For example, if you're, I always come up with this example, so if you've heard it before, because I know there's a mixture of you on here, but if you've got a dog at home that's chewing up your sofa and it's anxious, you may go into Amazon and put anxiety products for dogs or puppies, yeah? And what's going to come up is there might be some toys, some dog chew toys, there might be um, some supplements, and there might be a book that takes you through the process of what kind of things to do. So people are looking all the time for solutions, and we often use Amazon like we do Google. Sometimes we don't. If we're looking for, a specific name of a book, or we might be, we might know the title. We might be looking for garlic press. We know what we're buying, but generally, people are looking for solutions. So at the moment, a lot of people are looking for Mother's Day gifts because you're looking for ideas. Let me know if you've ever done that on Amazon. And my voice is going here. Um, so instead of creating a mindset journal or a mindset workbook, think about why you would be doing that mindset book. So an example would be a 7-day confidence booster for coaches, because then you've identified that the reader's going to be a coach, and also that maybe they've got limiting beliefs and you want to improve their confidence, because people are going to be buying that transformation. So they don't buy. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. I'm just going to escape it again because it won't let me see the chat. So let me just check. Let me know. So Rose is saying how to save time and have home cooked food with batch cooking. Yes, I like that. Um, I'd like to do first aid. Pressure sores, always been in maybe mental health due to COVID. I've always been scammed quite recently badly, or even a scam and fraud for some ideas. So first aid is good, and I like how you're thinking specifically of the pressure sores. Positivity or children's books, keto recipe books, drama sessions for the primary classroom. I like it. So yes, if it, for instance, Emma saying positivity or children's book, you've got to think of what are the specifics. What is that transformation part? What pinpoint a specific pain point for your reader or the parent that's going to get that book for the child. I don't know why it keeps doing this. I normally do my slides on Canva, and I decided tonight I'm going to do them on PowerPoint. Bad mistake. Right, so let's have a look at the second step to my formula. So we need to make sure with a workbook that we guide people, the reader, through really clear, simple steps. So you might want to include certain prompts, exercises, maybe a template or a checklist. So you've got to think, where are you taking that person from A to B? Because if you're focusing on the outcome as the title, like the was it 7-day confidence booster for coaches, what are those steps that you're going to take them through? What are the exercises that you're going to take them through so they can get to that solution? So that they focus on the progression, and then each page should move readers closer to that goal. For example, a productivity workbook with weekly planning pages, daily check-ins, and goal tracking templates. Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat. And then the other thing is design. I've seen so many really poorly, badly designed books, not just the covers. The cover is really important because if you're in Waterstones, you can pick the books up and have a look at them and read them. When it's online, that front cover is the only thing that you can share initially to the potential buyer. So it's got to really stand out against the competition. And also the inside part, you've got to keep people engaged. It's got to be appealing, and engaging. So simplicity is key. Keeping your workbook visually appealing, making sure it flows nicely, having really sort of clean cut layouts and clear instructions. Maybe you could have motivational quotes or affirmations. For example, fitness workbook with bold headings and visual progress trackers and uplifting messages to keep the reader on. Because, you could do one book and then it starts to be part of a series. And so you've got the potential that not only got someone's going to give you a good review and recommend it to people, but then people might come back and buy the next one, especially if you're doing something like a fitness workbook, because there's loads of different, you could focus one on the yoga, you could focus one on like, gym workout, so on and so on. And so once you do the layout for one, it's really easy then to create the layout for the next one in the series. So we've got to be visually engaging, and I've got to hold my hands up and say I am not a designer. My skill set lies with ranking on Amazon, getting on page one in Amazon. And as I say to a lot of people, I'm a bit of an SEO geek, really, where I analyze a lot of the keywords, So, for instance, fitness tracker. Is fitness tracker the right keyword to put in my title or in my book? And I use softwares to analyze it, which is my sort of like Amazon spyware. And so what I do is I outsource this, but I didn't used to when I was first starting out, but it used to take me hours to do. So it's important that you're honest with yourself. A lot of people that love to do books are really creative, but you may be creative. I feel I'm creative, but I'm probably not great at the design. So if design isn't your thing, then maybe find, a friend or family member. Maybe I think these teenage kids that I've got at home are good at this kind of stuff, or outsource it, and it doesn't cost too much. You can pay loads, but you don't have to. There are a lot of online freelancers who will do really, really good design. And actually, with Canva, has anybody, a lot of you probably already use Canva, but let me know if you use Canva. Canva now with AI make this really, really easy. I'm just looking at the chat now. Are you talking most about digital books or printed books? How do they compare profit-wise? So yeah, I'm going to come to the Amazon bit in a moment, so don't worry. What are your thoughts about PLR books and redesigning them in Canva? So you can, there are a lot of platforms that you can buy the templates, but I would always make sure that I'll make them my own. It's like AI. AI is a tool to help speed up the process. But we should never just copy and paste from AI because it sounds like a 1930s novelist. Even if you humanize it, that you can, I mean, it's getting better. It is getting better, but it should be a tool to kind of speed up the process rather than just doing everything with AI. And that's just my opinion. So make sure you pinpoint the transformation that you're going to do. Don't just do a mindset book or a gratitude book or a sports and fitness book. Pinpoint that pain point so that you can be clear on what the reader's going to get out of it. Make sure that you've got a whole flow going through the process in the book and it isn't just a load of jumble jamble in there. And also make sure that the design is going to be really, really premium, and helps people stand out because there's a lot of competition, but there's also a lot of poor books out there. And if you do that, you've got that winning streak. You're going to do really well with your books. So Amazon then, how do we use this $1 trillion marketplace to do our books? Well, traditionally we would have gone to a publisher, wouldn't we? And it can cost. I looked into this a few years ago, because I don't know, I think it was a bit of an ego, and I was like, I want a publishing deal, and it the guy that I spoke to anyway, the agent I spoke to wanted about 10,000 quid up front. I think he gave me a scenario of 6,000, but it wasn't as good to get these publishing deals. And then you also need to get all the copies of the book up front. And these days, even a lot of celebrities are doing self-publishing. So with Amazon and Amazon KDP specifically, we are self-publishing our books. Yeah. And the process is print on demand. So if I stop sharing a moment, Kerry, who I'm going to share a bit more details in a moment, she created this. She's a hypnotherapist. She created this book, and it's a work. It's kind of there's quite a lot of written content in it, but there's sections in it where she's got different exercises that she takes the reader through. So it's called the Fear Recode, and it's a eliminate fearful thinking, harness the power of your mind. So how it works on Amazon is you have the cover, you design the cover, and you can see this really impactful cover. You do all the inside pages, and then you submit that to Amazon, and you have three choices. You either have it as a Kindle, which is obviously the digital ebook, or as a paperback like this, or you can have it as a hardcover. You can't have like ring binding and all these fancy, different planner options. You can only have Kindle, which is the ebook, paperback, or a hardcover. You can have color, you can have matte, you can have glossy covers, and you can decide on like cream paper and white paper, or as I say, standard color or full glossy premium color. So when I publish a book, I will always go for all of those three options of the book. But for workbooks, people keep telling me, I don't know if anyone knows this, people keep telling me that Kindle now you can use a pen with it. But I kind of think with a workbook, you want the physical book. That's the whole point of it, isn't it? You're filling it in. And so if I was going to do a digital workbook, I'd be selling it the same book then on the likes of Etsy as the digital. So it's a Kindle, a paperback, or a hardcover. Those are the three options. And so it works as print on demand. You submit it to Amazon. Amazon will approve it. And then basically when you get the sale, Amazon will charge you the cost of the printing. They'll charge you a pick and pack fee, and then you get what they call is royalties, which Amazon advertises about as 70%, but I'll give you the real. The real is about 35%, depending on the price of your book. So I've worked with some people who are giving loads of knowledge, in a really nichey topic where there's hardly any competition. Like I worked with a guy who his background was engineering, and we looked, and a lot of the books, some of the books were like 100, £200. But generally, depending again on what you're going to create, you're probably going to sell it between 10 and 30 pounds or $30. Now the great thing is, as soon as you publish that book, it goes global. So you can sell it in the US, UK, Europe, Australia, the list goes on, wherever there's an Amazon. There are some countries like India's a little bit tricky, with things like colour and colour interiors and stuff like that. But you can sell it across a global, your book can be sold globally. Whereas actually, if you were to get a local printers, and you're not going to ship it to Australia, are you? No one's going to buy it with the shipping costs. So it's a great way to get your book out there in this online world to absolutely everybody. Let me know if that makes sense. So it's a print on demand model. And of course, we know how big Amazon is. And why do we buy on Amazon? We buy because we get next day Prime. And some of the books can be printed very quickly. At Christmas time, because there's a higher demand, it takes a little bit longer. It isn't next day. But I've ordered like every time my students' books get published, I'm ordering them to support them. And a lot of the times I notice it does come either next day or next, but one day, like 48 hours. So it's pretty quick. Um, Let me just check the chat. So yeah, Amazon take is roughly about 35. It all depends on the price you book. So basically, at the end, it tells you how much it's going to cost to print and the pick and pack fee, and then you can change the book price accordingly. So if you're selling something at 14.99, you're getting a roughly a fiver profit, which for not having to invest anything up front is pretty good. Obviously, if you could go to a local printers and get copy, you can get order auth copies as well. So like if I go to a speaking gig or if I go to like a networking event, I always take copies of my book. I'm always ordering 20, 30 copies, but you can order up to I think 999, I think. I've never ordered that many. And so like for my Queens of E-commerce, that cost me £1.10. Even though I think it's 12.99 or 13.99, I can't remember what the price is. I've changed it a few times. So you can get all the copies at a lot cheaper price point. It all depends on the number of pages, the color interior, etc. And that's really, really good, especially if you are somebody who, like, say I had a lady who was part of a community. She wanted to sell her book at an event. So you can order what you want rather than if you would go to a sort of traditional printers, you've got to order a minimum quantity. You've got to invest in buying all those books. So there's always somebody when I do one of these masterclasses saying, well, my local printers, it costs 89p or something. And yeah, you could probably find printers that might be cheaper and you could do that to get your own copies. But when you think about the power of the Amazon marketplace, it's just so easy, isn't it? It's just so easy to buy off there. So it's a great way to be able to sell globally, earn a passive income stream, use that book in other ways for like, if you've got coaching clients or you've got, service-based clients, you can use it in other ways. I'm just going to shut the door. Got noisy teenagers. So yeah, to me, it's a win-win doing it on. And also, Amazon will ask you if you want to sell it on other marketplaces. So they will sell it on other places for you, and you get a smaller. They take a bit more of a cut because obviously they've got to sell it on there, and it's all transparent. It tells you how much it's going to be beforehand. Um, so yeah, I mentioned that before. So just so you know, more than 60, a lot of people think that the products and books on Amazon are all Amazon. And actually 60% of the sales are individual or independent sellers, usually small and medium-sized businesses. This is what happened with Amazon warehouses in COVID, which I always like to share because a lot of people say to me, well, isn't Amazon getting saturated now? Because I've been selling on their physical products and I did my first book in 2013. Um, so I've seen the growth in Amazon warehouses, and we all know our local FBA fulfillment centre. We've all got one near us. But in COVID, we all know what happened because obviously we're in lockdown. We all had to buy online. The warehouses doubled, if not trebled, and Amazon grew by 43% here in the UK, and I think it was just over 50% globally. So the demand's higher because we're becoming more digital, aren't we? Just all the time, and this whole cashless society. So we're all shopping more online. Amazon pays out approximately $300 million to $520 million in royalties to authors. So that's the fee that they pay us for our books. Obviously, it all depends how many books you've got on there and how good your book is and all that kind of thing, to what you will earn passively. I got more serious about this, I've got to admit, in my divorce because I thought I lost a bit of my pension and I thought actually it's great me shipping products from China, but actually, how can I, if for instance you did a book on your own and it didn't sell, okay, you've spent the time doing the book, but you haven't had an outlay. If I'm buying stock from China, I might have to outlay a couple of thousand in stock to get that sent into Amazon. Whereas with books, you haven't got anything to lose, have you? Apart from obviously your time. I know your time's precious, but do you know what I mean? You haven't got any stock inventory to lose. So yeah, for me, it's something that I've got more serious on probably probably since like 2018, 19, doing more and more of these books. And I've actually got my sons involved in it now, because I think, youngsters are really creative as well. And I think there's a lot more kind of parents doing homeschooling and things like that. So they come up with really good ideas. And so it's something that you can teach, the younger generation if you want to. But only 1% of the population are authors, which is quite surprising. Out of all of the millions of books that are not only just available on Amazon, but obviously Waterstone and stuff. So there's not actually that many people that have become authors globally, that is 1% of the population. So Kerry, whose book I just showed you, Kerry came to me. In fact, I spelled instrumental wrong there. But she asked her to send me a few words. I know she's always sort of shared about her book because she got not only has she, I think she sold 80 something, it was 80 plus copies in her launch period. But as well as her earning an income from her book on being on Amazon, because she does hypnotherapy, she's ended up with quite a lot of speaking gigs or podcast interviews. So it just all depends why you want to do the book. You may want to just do, like me, sometimes I'm looking for keywords like the air fryer recipe one. But you may also, if you've got a business or you want to be known for something, it's a great way to get new clients and also elevate you very quickly in that space as an authority, which Kerry did really, really well. And also Jeanette as well. So Jeanette, she's working on book number two. And we got her into some very interesting categories, as you can see, bestseller in sex instruction for women. This was a menopause book, and she got we didn't put her in those categories, but somehow she ended up into them. So she hit, as you can see here, number four, number two, is that number four there? My eyes going blurred. But she hit the top 10 categories, and again, this has really helped her menopause coaching business as well. So I tend to work with two types of people who have got businesses that they, as I say, where they want to get a book out, and can help their clients with it. Because you can do all sorts of things. If you've got a course or coaching program, people who buy that course, you can give them a copy of the book, to work through. And people then find you off Amazon because you could put a QR code in there so that then they can come and find your website, or you can, change it to other links or get leads into your business that then they can come and work with you and, do a whole, your whole coaching course or whatever. But then there's other types of people who are just constantly thinking of different types of books to do because they just want to do loads and loads of books as an income stream. Here's some other examples. So we've got Nadja and Emma who have, or they used to have this modality. They've kind of gone their separate ways now, I think. But they both work in the spiritual niche, and they did the prosperity journal. We've got Justina here in the middle. She's known for doing a lot of dressage, and she wanted to do a journal to help people with dressage. We've got Jo down here who she did. I've got her book actually. Um, she uh, she does belief coding. So I think maybe some of you, I know a few belief coding facilitators are in here. She wanted to help preteen girls with her book, and it's all about mindfulness. And then we have Lorraine, and Lorraine's stories a little bit of a sad one. She helped, basically, she wanted to help people who had diabetes. But unfortunately, she passed away at the end of last year, which really hit us in our group. But what I was so proud of is that we got her book out there, and that is part of her legacy now. And I feel really privileged to have helped to do that. And I just remember the day that we launched. I think I was up till midnight because we got her to number two, and we thought we were going to get to number one, but this one was a massive hit. This book, and diabetes is such a competitive kind of niche, I suppose. So if you've got health conditions like she lived with, live with diabetes, if you've got, any experiences that you've gone through. I've done a few domestic abuse ones for charity as well, which has really been rewarding doing those books because it helps other women. If the skill set that you have or from the knowledge that you have with your work and all that kind of stuff, there's just so many different workbooks that you can do. Um, so do you want to have a best-selling workbook? Let me have a look here. If you publish colouring book, is the way to bundle it up with colouring pens. So you can, if you not on KDP, so you can sell the book as a colouring book, but then you can order author copies, bundle it with colouring pens and send it in. Yeah, I'll be sending out a replay, so don't worry. Um, I'm on the Amazon influencer program, so I can't publicise my books, but you can do it in other ways. Lee's got a question. If my book content would include meditations or voice guided visuals, how would I get these? So I would do a QR code. I'd do a QR code in the book, which then goes to a link that they can download. Or, like we're saying with the colouring, you could get copies of your book and then you could have it as a set. You could bundle it with other things and then send it into Amazon. So there's sort of two ways, but I think the easiest way is to do a QR code. Or you could put a link in there, but I think QR codes, when you've got something physical, a bit like when we go to a restaurant, isn't it? There's QR codes everywhere so they can keep changing the menus. The great thing with the QR code is that you can change that link, that destination. So say you launched the book and you had a meditation in there, but then 2 years down the line you're like, that meditation needs changing now. I want my more up-to-date one with my better mic or something. You could then change that link. Whereas if you put a specific link in there, it's going to go to that. But you know what I mean? Like if say it's a YouTube or Spotify link, you kind of can't change the book unless you change the inside. Let me know if that makes sense. Um, yeah, a dynamic QR code. So KDP is Kindle Direct Publishing, which is Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing, which is the platform that you do your books on. My voice is definitely going to stay, so sorry. So do you want to do your best-selling workbook in 6 weeks? Because I'm going to explain to you what I put together. So previously, I do a retreat every September in Spain, in Mijas, for anyone who wants to do yoga and kind of do the retreat thing as well as doing a book, because writing is quite cathartic. I've previously done a 12-month program for people writing their books, but I find that most people do workbooks, where they've got some content and then they're taking people through a process and then they may go and do the full book afterwards. Um, and I used to do, or last year I was doing a 2-day workshop that was in Birmingham, Manchester, where, because sometimes people are like, I just haven't got time to put this together. So it's like, right, you spend 2 days with me. We do some pre-work, obviously, and then we get it done on Amazon in 2 days. But this year, I've kind of decided to rejig things and focus more on workbooks. So I was looking at what I can do, but also for a better price point as well, because the 2-day workshop was £1,000 investment. So I was looking at ways that we could do this online and also offline. So I'm just going to show you exactly what I'm going to be doing. And this is a new thing that I've put together. So I've launched the bestseller workbook bootcamp, which is an online program over 6 weeks. And this is what we're covering. So week one, so what will happen is every week there'll be a video explaining what you've got to do, like on the Monday, and then there'll be a live session on the Thursday. Just because some people, like, what is your niche and ideal client, may already have that information in your business. You might just want to get up and go, yeah, and you might not need the Q&A, but I'm there to help you in that session. Then week two, it's all of the keywords and the market research, because like I said, I'm a bit of an SEO geek. I come from this from an Amazon point of view because I want you to be a bestseller and I want you to make sure you've got the right keywords so that you come up in customer searches, because I find that a lot of people that have got books out there already come to me and say, it's not making any sales, and it's because of the discoverability and customers can't find it. Then we craft the workbook pages, and I find a lot of people have either a lot of content in their head already, or they've already got PDFs and guides already with a lot of content in. So we work on how we're going to take that reader from A to Z with that transformation part. We then go on to week four is the cover part. So looking at your cover design, whether you outsource that step or whether you're going to do it yourself, I'm going to show you how you can do it yourself. And then week five is all of the publishing on Amazon, so Kindle Direct Publishing. Like we've got all these abbreviations. So how you open your Amazon account, the best way to format it and upload it, because the number one mistake people make is they get rejected at that point on Amazon because they've not formatted it properly. And then the last week is how we get it to a bestseller, and I'll share my strategy of how we launch so you can get to a number one bestseller, or at least in the top 10, depending on the categories that we pick. Um, and then, of course, the sales long term and what your long term strategy is going to be. Also, so as I say, each week the content's going to be drip fed to you. Yeah, it's not like a do it yourself course. It's a program where I'm there helping you, handhold you through the process. So every week there's a live call just like this, but we'll all be chatting on it. There'll be some PDFs and checklists and some templates so that you can. I know someone said about PLR, but I've got a lot of templates that I can give you. There'll be a Facebook group as well. I'm also going to be sharing with you the KDP mastery of how to publish and optimize your workbook with all of the keywords, and sharing with you the software that I use, and you can use mine as well. So we can do screen shares and I help you get the right keywords. My bestseller launch strategy, so you hit number one, which I've already mentioned actually, a lifetime access to it all as well. So it doesn't go away afterwards. If you want to revisit it, refine your book, or you want to do another book, you've got all the content to keep going over. And then obviously the Q&A and hot seat sessions. I'm also going to throw in some bonuses. I decided that I'm going to make it 8 weeks. So it's a 6 week program, but I've just learned over the years that life gets in the way sometimes, doesn't it? So if you miss a session, I'm going to do 2 extra weeks once all the content's been delivered, so that anyone, if you're like, oh God, I'm still doing the content in the book and I'm a bit behind, or, my car broke down this week, or my mum's got ill, or whatever, you've got a couple of extra weeks to still get access to me to get help. And then also, I'm throwing in a 30-day social media promo plan so that it's specific for books. So if you want to do some social media promotion in your launch, you don't have to, but if you want to, and the types of things to do every day, my Amazon KDP keyword swipe file. So if you get stuck with the keywords, there's a list with lots of different niches of keywords that I've already researched that are good. So you can just swipe them. And then some bestseller case studies as well, to give you some ideas if you get stuck and overwhelmed of what kind of book to do. So you get all those bonuses. So I added all that up. That's over 2,500 with the value. And as I say, I was doing this to £1,000 for the 2-day workshop. And to work with me, I did it for 90 days for 1,000 and 2,000 for 12 months. But because it's a 6 week, well, 8 weeks program, it's £497. I know Rebecca is going to put the link in the chat. There is also a pay in three option. I was trying to do a Klarna link, but we had problems yesterday and today. I normally can do it fine. So now with Stripe, you can do Klarna. So with Klarna, it is exactly divided by three. If you use my pay in three, it's a little bit more. So, but if anybody really wants to pay in Klarna, you can email me, and I could send you a direct link. But we had real problems with it today. So anyway, it's £497, which is my best offer I've ever done on anything like this with all the content I've done. But I'm also going to do a VIP option. Now, there's actually 14 places because I was trying to someone this afternoon who's taken one already. It's only available for 15 of you. And you get everything that I've already just said, everything with the bestseller workbook bootcamp. But I find sometimes people struggle with the covers, and your cover is really important. So my team will do your cover. So that's also added in extra. And I'm doing a 1-day in-person mastermind, which will be on the 16th of May. And I'm going to do that in Manchester. So just in case anyone wants to know whereabouts we're doing it. It'll be in the city centre, so it'll be easy to get to by train and car actually, or flying in if you want to. And I'm doing it on the 16th of May because you'll kind of be towards the end of this, and so we can do the Amazon bit together if you're stuck on any bits and you just want me in person. This year I'm doing a lot more in-person events, and that's because I built my whole business online and I did it around my kids. And my eldest is 18 this year, and my youngest is nearly 15. And they don't need me as much now. Well, they kind of need me more mentally, to be fair, as teenagers do. But they don't need me as picking up from school and dropping off and all that kind of stuff. And I just want to help people by being there. It's great doing stuff on Zoom, isn't it? But it's great also in person, where if you get stuck on anything, I can just be like, right, let me get your laptop, let's do it. So we can submit it. And you know, just meeting people. I enjoy meeting people. So there's only 14 places of that left, and that's 797 for the extra cover and also the in-person day event. Um, what else did I want to tell you? I'm sure there was loads of things. I've forgotten now. But if anybody is like, yes, I definitely want this, and I'm gonna now open up for questions because it's hard for me to see the chat box while I'm also sharing my screen. But if anybody is like, yes, definitely, I want to get this right now. What I love about books is you can duplicate the content to Etsy. You know, like I was saying before, if you've got a you know, you've got the Kindle on Amazon, but how do you actually sell the workbook as a digital download? Like, as I say, I've grown Etsy shops over the years, and I have a program that I ran last year, which was build a digital download business on Etsy. And if anybody's like, right, I'm definitely getting this now while we're doing the Q&A, just while we're still on this Zoom, I will give you that for free as well. I'll add that in, whichever option you go for, whether you go for the online boot camp or you want the full kind of cover and the VIP option as well. The doors are closed on the 1st of April because we're doing an onboarding session on the 3rd of April. This is when we kick off. So you have got until the 1st of April. But if you want to make sure you've got the VIP, I would expect that the VIP will have gone by then. And of course, if you want the digital download and Etsy is something that you're interested in, then I'm going to give you that free now. And that is it. I'm writing on my own slides now. God, I'm never using PowerPoint again. What am I doing? Let me stop sharing. Brilliant. So I am open for questions. I know I do need to get a drink. Let me drink. I've got a coffee here and it's gone cold. Um, so Alison's in. Um, Emma, I'll go for Etsy, please. So the Etsy is an extra bonus that I thought I'd put on. Um, yeah, so so there's two packages. I debate whether to do two packages because sometimes I confuse people. So it's me. So the first option is the boot camp, which is six weeks of content, but 8 weeks of me helping you. And by the end of the 8 weeks, you will have that book approved and live and as a bestseller. That is the goal. So unless you don't turn up to any of the sessions, that's what we will get to. So the second option is the VIP. And on top of the 8 weeks, you will also get a cover design from me and my team because I find whenever I've helped people before, sometimes they struggle on the cover design. So my team will ask you, you'll fill in a form, you'll talk about your branding and your colours and your ideas and other covers that you like the look of, and my team will do it. And if you don't like the first one, we'll do another one. But we'll get you a really shit hot cover design basically. And then the additional thing on that as well is that you'll spend a day with me in Manchester on May the 16th, where you've got me in person. So if there's anything you're behind on, we can get it done in that day. If you want to wait to submit it to Amazon because you just want a bit of hand holding and making sure you're doing it right, I'll be there. So you get a whole day of me, but I can only do it for a maximum of 15 people because the room only fits that amount of people in, including me and also my photographer that I've invited. So you may have a few, if you don't want to be on camera, that's fine, but he might pop in because he lives in Manchester, so he might pop in and take a few shots. Um, so yeah, so that's the difference. It's the cover and the in-person day. So yeah, I can take you through the editing and proofreading. I can't do the proofreading for you. The editing and proofreading is an important part. I can recommend people to do it, and also I find with workbooks because it's less heavy. You know, if you're writing a 50,000 word life story or business book, there's a lot more proofreading to do. So sometimes people, it's like my sister's an English, the language teacher, so she helps me sometimes with my smaller books. And but there's also proofreaders that I can recommend. Let me check. I think you can pay by PayPal with that link. If you can't, you can email me at support@the So where you registered, you will have had yeah, just reply to the email of the reminder on here. Um, so the date is the 16th of May. Um, Thanks for all your comments as well, but it was hard for me to whiz through all the comments. I am artist. Can I use my art on the cover? Yeah, absolutely. That would be really impactful, actually. Um, what kind of recommended software do we need? I'd like to take the VIP option too. So the the recommended software for what part? So I'm gonna give you all of that. I'll each week I'm gonna give you all of the details of all the softwares I use. So for design, you can use Canva, but you can also use InDesign if you're Adobe. InDesign is a bit more precise if you're a designer. But Canva also works as well. This is to do like the inside or your cover. So I was going to do it. Delphine is saying it's an option in South UK. So I was going to do it in Birmingham actually, because I'm half an hour south of Birmingham. I decided to do it in Manchester, because I always tend to do it in Birmingham. So it's 90 minutes to, is it King's Cross? Is that the train? Who knows? If anyone lives in Manchester, how long does it take to get to London? If I fill the VIP option really quick, I may possibly do another day. But as it stands, I'm only doing one day because I've never done it like this before, you see. I just want to help more people get it done, because obviously like a £2,000 investment, not everybody has. And I know there's a lot of knowledge out there that needs to get out in the world. So I was trying to work out how I could do this at a more affordable price for people. Um, So yeah, the Etsy bit is just free. Plus, Emma, you know, I know there's a couple of you part of Launch You get everything in Launch You, so you get my help in there. So you probably don't need that. Susan's saying, what date does it start? So it starts 3rd of April is like the onboarding call, the welcome call. Um, and I think Rebecca's put the link in there. Maybe put the link in again, Rebecca. Um, Josie, this sounds really interesting. The VIP is really interesting to me. Unfortunately, I'm not in a position to invest right now. There is a paid 3 option as well. Is there a sweet point for the number of subjects, pages, etc. for workbook? So I would say 150 is a good size. So 150 pages, that's 75 sheets. Set poetry in a workbook could be good. What we do is I'd work with you to identify who's going to buy that book. Because what we've got to focus on is not just creating a book for us. What would people buy? And I've got a poetry one. I got one for heartbreak poems. You'll laugh at it. You'll laugh at the cover. Hold on, where is it? And this was actually quite a small book. Can you see that? So this was for heartbreak, quite a funny cover, but impactful all the same. And it was actually a barrister that I worked with who had been heartbroken and found out her husband, well, her nearly husband already had a wife, and was completely heartbroken and didn't wanted to take revenge and then didn't and wrote all these poems to heal. So for something like that, it was people are looking for heartbreak solutions. So if you are going to do poetry, what we would be working on is who would buy that. Because remember, we're solving problems basically. So 3rd of April it kicks off. Yeah, the cover's impactful, isn't it, Alison? Let me know if you've got any questions or if I've missed any, because the chat box was going like mad when I was sharing my screen. Let me know if I've missed anything. This is your chance to ask. Anything about Amazon? And actually, Rebecca, I haven't checked Facebook. If there's anything you can see in there, let me know. Maybe put it in the chat for me. Suggest some outsource for front cover design. So there's loads of different designers that I use. And Emma, I know you anyway. So if you drop me a message, I'll be able to introduce you to one of them. Barbara said, I couldn't join until the 28th this month, but would I still be able to get the Etsy offer? Ooh. Email me. If you um, email me at support of the Anna Davidson. So I can't see any other questions. Um, it doesn't sound weird. You're bucking me soon. Um, yeah, can't see any other questions. I'll just pop the link again in the chat, just to give anybody a bit more time to grab the Etsy deal. If we are launching, can we replace cover and internal book template on previous recordings? Um, yeah, so yeah, you can drop me an email, David. Um, Published my book on KDP 2 years ago and got no sales. We, of course, how we market it. Yeah, absolutely, because we're covering all of that in the final week of it. And I don't know if you did any Amazon ads or marketing or, maybe just the keywords that you've got wrong. Did you do any keyword research? So I probably won't be doing it again. I mean, if this is the first time I've done it, and I've got other things. I'm going to China in June. I and then after kind of sort of July, August time, I'm planning quarter four. Quarter four is a really busy time. So from October, November, December, I don't try and do. I sometimes do my Black Friday challenge. But I said I wasn't going to do it again this year because last year I was completely wiped out. But I may end up doing it again in a different format. So I wasn't planning to. So what I did, it's a bit like with the Etsy course that I'm offering you. I ran that live last year. And then I can, afterwards I may sell the DIY option, so without the coaching. So I may possibly, but I haven't got plans to at this moment in time. Um, yeah, the Etsy deal is if you buy while we're on the live call. But I know somebody messaged me about getting paid and email me. Um, Okie dokie, I may be able to. Oh, I thought awake, able to rearrange. Um, I can't remember what that was to now, Susan. Was that to the... Oh, was that if I'm doing it again? Okay. So there's going to be a couple of extra weeks if you miss any of them. Louise is saying, hi Louise, by the way. My husband has published a book through New Generations on Amazon KDP, but they seem to have all control. Is it possible to do it without them? So if you've used a publishing company and then they put it on Amazon, they have to remove that book before you can then self-publish it. This is the thing, if publishers do it, they have the whole control. Um, so it's much better to do yourself because you've just got the flexibility. Brilliant. Well, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something. I hope I've inspired you to go out there and do your books. And you've got until the 1st of April. As I say, we're kicking off on the 3rd of April. If anyone has any other questions that they don't want to ask sort of in this forum, just drop me an email. As you can tell, I'm pretty down to earth, and I'll help answer any questions that you've got. So hope you've enjoyed tonight, and I will see you all soon. All right, thanks, folks. Take care. Bye.